Hello and welcome to Unit 4 of Exploring Jesus Ourselves. I'm Simonon, and today I will be leading the talk and meditation which is entitled Experiencing Jesus Ourselves.
Hi, I'm Megan. I'm going to be participating in the course and I'll be helping with the ICT.
Thank you very much, Megan. And on that note, indeed, if I could possibly ask you to put up the first slide.
Yep, that's fine.
Great. So it's experiencing Jesus ourselves, and this course, which involves both intellect and intuition, is going to look at the intuitive side. Now, I will have already spoken about dreams in Unit 3, but there's also vision, inner visions, visions that can appear to us as they have done through saints and so on, visionaries in the past, using our intuition. There's resonance, that sense of hearing a story and it somehow rings true to us. Well worth listening to. There's prayer, there's meditation, there's using visualizations. And for those who believe in it, there's also drawing on past life. So there's a variety of intuitive tools that we have at our disposal. And they're as valuable as our intellect. We have been given both and should use both. Not least when we're exploring a being such as Jesus. Now, just to give you one example, a past attempt at this course found that dreams were the primary way in which Jesus spoke to her. In fact, she largely bypassed scripture. Jesus, and she recognized it as Jesus, appeared to her in her dreams. So for that individual, that was the main connection with Jesus. Other people have other ways of approaching Jesus. I wonder, for you, Megan, when you're exploring any form of spirituality, are there any on that list that resonate with you?
Yeah, I'd say probably dreams, meditation, intuition are quite strong ones for me. They're ones I've not necessarily experienced with Jesus before, but ones I've had positive outcomes with before.
Sure, that's great. And people have got to select what works for them. There isn't one way, and I'm not suggesting you have to work through the entire list either, but it's just to show you some possibilities. Now today, we're going to do a guided visualization, and in a moment I'm just going to talk you through it. But before I do that, is there anything that you'd like to ask about or comment on this list?
No, I'm just excited to use my intuitive senses. I've really enjoyed the course so far with the intellect side of things, but I'm excited to go down the new route with it now.
Surely. Okay, well, without further ado, could I possibly ask you to put up the next slide, please?
Yeah, I'm just going to do that now.
Okay, so this is just to introduce the idea of meditation and visualization. What I would say about meditation and visualizations is they're rather like physical exercise. Basically, it's good for you, providing you don't overdo it and providing you don't have some underlying condition. In the case of meditation, for example, like prayer, it's definitely good to do some minutes each day. Some people do 5, 10, 20 minutes, it's up to you. it would only become problematic if it was done so much that it started to be a way of escaping from day-to-day reality, because we really are meant to be on this planet. So we link inwardly or to the above to draw energy, to draw sustenance, or support, and then we're meant to go out and work in the world. When I talk about underlying conditions, I'm really talking about underlying mental health conditions, serious mental health conditions, psychotic ones, hallucinogenic ones. Then I think you need to be careful and should always check with whichever professional you're working with. But for most people, it's really helpful too. You'll see I've put up a picture of the chakras. These are the energy centers. Now, when we begin the guided visualization, I will go straight into it, but when we finish, I will close these centers down. Now, these energy centers, as it were, open ourselves up to the more subtle or higher spiritual vibrations. And we just need to remember to close them down before we go out into the world. They naturally, incidentally, open and close a little bit like petals of a flower. So we have the root chakra at the base of the spine, the sacral chakra, which is just a little bit below the tummy button, solar plexus chakra, which is the solar plexus, heart chakra in the middle of the chest, throat chakra, third eye, that's the pineal gland, and then we have the crown chakra. As I say, I'll close those down at the end of the meditation. So what I'm going to do in a moment is simply talk you through a guided visualization, very light, very gentle, and it's going to take us on a little journey towards Jesus. And if I can ask you to move to the next picture, you'll see it belongs with a path. This, incidentally, is a photograph taken from within Israel itself. Now, most people will close their eyes when they meditate. Some people find it helpful to have gentle music. It's really entirely up to you. But if you do find your mind wandering during the course of meditation, it's not a big deal. Just very gently bring it back to the focus of the meditation. You should never do anything that's forced in the meditation. It rather defeats the purpose. This is supposed to be gentle, flowing, opening up centers of your own mind that normally may not be very active during the hurly-burly of the day. So before I start, are there any questions or comments, Megan, that you'd like to ask?
No, I'm looking forward to the meditation.
Okay, so the first thing to do, first of all, make sure you have your feet on the ground.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's part of our journey to have our feet on the ground. As I said earlier, we are really meant to be here. Secondly, if you just like to close your eyes, and the first little while, just focus on your breath. You don't need to breathe any slower or faster or deeper or lighter. Just focus your attention on your breath, which will enable your whole system to calm down, slow down a bit. Okay, so when you're ready, I want you to imagine that you're on a pathway. It can be like the one in the photo or something completely different and entirely up to you. But just imagine you're walking along a pathway. And it's a lovely day. The path is going very gently uphill. And you can see ahead of you there is a small hill with a crest. And you're heading up there at a gentle pace. You can be on your own or with other people, up to you. And as you get closer, you can see that on the hill there is a radiant, luminous being that's standing quite still. You find yourself drawn to that being. And as you get closer, you realize, you awaken to the fact that that being is Jesus himself. You stop a few feet. You realize that as you've approached him, you can feel like a warm current, visible rays of a spiritual sun that are shining down on you. And that is the great love that is coming from this being. The love that stretches across the whole planet. It is for every single human being. And it is for you. Absolutely, unconditionally. This love is for you. You understand that you're seen absolutely and loved. And as you take each breath, you take in some of that beautiful light. And it begins by filling your head with that divine love. All your brain, all your worries are just disappearing as your head is filled with this beautiful light flowing through you very gently. Absolute, unconditional love, just for you. Now the love pours down through the neck into your chest, through your heart, healing and purifying as it goes along, letting go all your worries and anxieties. Down through your arms, down through into the torso. It's beautiful healing love. Through your solar plexus, heart chakra, all of them are cleansed and they're purified and they're filled with love. Down through your bottom, thighs. Love just pours through, it cleanses, it heals, it purifies. Down through your knees, legs, feet. It takes it with it, all the impurities, all the unhappiness, the distress, the tension, just flows into the earth where it's recycled into something useful. So you just allow that love just to flow through you for the next wee while. You can open yourself as a small child to a loving parent, absolutely confident in trust, to loved and looked after no matter what. And then Jesus writes something on a small piece of paper, piece of parchment, papyrus. He rolls it up and he hands it to you. You take it in your hand with a blessing. He turns and walks, and you too, with that sacred scroll in your hand, in your fist, start to walk down. You walk down the path, down the hillside, full of light and love. You feel so blessed, so loved. Now you gradually get the bottom of the hill where you started from. And you pause a moment. And you finally open the scroll. And you see what is written on it. There's a message just for you. You needn't share it with anybody, but it's his message for you. And you give a moment to filter through your consciousness, take it in your heart. Now, I'm going to close each chakra, starting with the crown chakra on the top of your head, which closes like the petals of a flower closing. Then the third eye chakra, middle of your forehead, pineal gland, that closes just like the petals of a flower. Then your throat chakra, again close it down. Heart chakra, solar plexus chakra, again closing it down like the petals of a flower. Sacral chakra, just an inch or two below your tummy button. And last but not least, the root chakra at the base of your spine. You close down all your chakras, and when you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes, come fully back to the room. And incidentally, if you are still feeling a bit kind of spacey, you can always stamp your feet a little bit, or feel your feet a little bit on the floor, wiggle your toes. That's bringing you back onto planet Earth. Okay, so That's something we can all do ourselves. You can always organize your own guided meditation, or you can do it in a group. What it does is to open a pathway which is not governed by the intellect, that is not controlled in that way, that can open you to all sorts of surprising things. So, I don't know if there's something you would like to share, Megan. You don't have to share anything, by the way, because it's a private, your own meditation. And that's the great thing about it, is that everybody who's had this experience has had a different meditation. And that in a certain way is what this course is about, is everybody finds their own path. But if there's anything that you want to share or ask or comment on, please feel free to do so.
I just found it extremely comforting and warming, nourishing almost. It's a really positive experience.
Yes, I think the sense of the love of Jesus, isn't it? That's personal, both universal and personal. When I opened the scroll myself, I got absolute love was written on it. And I think that's really important, because we usually experience love as being conditional. It's wonderful when it's unconditional, but probably most human beings experience it in a conditional way. And I think what's so important about when we're open to these spiritual experiences, we actually experience unconditional love. So for viewers watching, that is something that's open to you, and not just open once. You can do it as often as you like. You can do it with music. It's entirely up to you. Some people prefer prayer. That's fine. Some people like to have an image of Jesus. I deliberately didn't, because I wanted people to find their own way and their own image. But whatever way you choose, I would encourage you to use your intuitive senses as well as your intellectual senses. So before we finish, any questions or comments?
So thank you for such a different experience of Jesus to anything I've ever had before. It feels really authentic and real.
That's great. And that indeed is the whole point. It's authentic. It's experience. It's not something for the debating chamber or intellectual inquiry. You have had your own experience, just as I have had my own experience. And that's forever. It's something precious. Okay, well, we'll say goodbye for this week. And next week we should be looking at what was Jesus like, which is a multi-layered inquiry, exploration. But until then, I will thank you, Megan, for what you've done. And it's goodbye for me.
Thank you. Bye.